Imagine being at the controls of a commercial airliner or a fighter jet and suddenly getting blinded by a powerful laser light. That is what is happening more and more often in the skies over Arizona, and aviation safety officials say it is putting lives at risk. Investigative reporter Morgan Lowe looking into this. What these people are doing with, you would think it's just a small beam, but it's not.
Yeah, and this is an example of what the problem is. People are taking little laser pointers like this and they're shining it up like that and they're pointing it at aircraft. It may seem harmless, but what people don't realize is by the time that little green dot gets up to a cockpit of a plane or a helicopter that's a couple thousand feet in the air, it is much bigger.
We are taxiing down the runway at Deer Valley Airport to show you what this laser pointer looks like from a mile away.
What would this do to your eyesight?
You couldn't, tell me you can see the runway with that. You can't.
It's a dangerous situation, and it's becoming all too common. Our analysis of Federal Aviation Administration data shows laser strikes increasing on private planes, commercial jets, even Air Force fighter jets.
I fly the F-35.
Lieutenant Colonel Tyler Smith was leading his formation back to Luke Air Force Base one night last fall when a laser struck his cockpit.
It was about 2,000 feet above the ground, and it shined on every one of our aircraft in sequence as we came back to land. It's disorienting, it can be blinding, and prevents you from seeing anything at all for a few moments.
Can you imagine the effect that might have on someone who is just starting to fly an F-35?
Oh, it could be catastrophic.
According to the FAA data we reviewed, airplanes flying over Arizona reported 429 laser strikes in fiscal year 2023. They've already reported 232 strikes in the first 3 months of fiscal 2024. In December, 35-year-old William Hill was arrested after pointing a laser at a Southwest Airlines jet, then at a Phoenix police helicopter. He told police he was pointing in the sky, testing how powerful it was, and that he was not trying to point it at any helicopters or airplanes. Hill now faces 2 felonies.
It's probably just a novelty thing. I've got this laser, let's see if I can hit an airplane. And people are ignorant of what the ramifications might be.
Cary Grant is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force and current FAA safety team lead representative.
This is a 1957 Piper Pacer.
We're about to use his airplane to demonstrate what it looks like in a cockpit during a laser strike.
I have these glasses that are supposed to be protective for eyes when they're flashed with a laser, so we're gonna put these on. 1
mile away down the runway, another crew is standing by with a laser pointer.
What this will do is it'll sort of mimic what would happen if we were maybe 1,000 feet in the air and somebody was in the distance flashing a laser.
We're ready if you're ready.
Wow. Wow. That is bright. So that tiny little speck, that tiny dot on that end is lighting up the entire cockpit on this end.
By the time it gets here, it's blossomed. I'm shielding my eyes with the glare shield. If I was up, it would be blinding. You've lost your night vision when that happens.
Airport officials gave us special permission to do this demonstration. It's a sign of how important the aviation community takes this. What do you think the solution is?
Eliminating lasers, we're not going to be able to do that, but education, and that's hopefully what we can do, is we can educate people that, hey, you think it's just a prank, it has to be taken very seriously.
Back at Luke Air Force Base, where they train new F-35 pilots.
Every week we fly at night, we have one of these occurrences.
Lieutenant Colonel Tyler Smith says he's concerned about what could happen with a less experienced pilot in the cockpit.
I was able to safely land, but it was a factor for multiple airplanes that night, and it could have led to an accident.
At this point, we are on track to double last year's total of laser strikes in Arizona and last year's total was already a new record.
So, you know, there are these times where do we talk about it too much because then you have copycats, or do we not talk about it enough and then we don't bring awareness to the issue?
Right, and that's the big question. Do you tell people about it and then think there might be more? The aviation safety people that came to me with this story at the end of last year said we've gotten to the point where it's happening so much that they need to get the word out about this, so that maybe somebody who knows somebody who's doing it, or a parent or a friend, will say, hey, knock it off. This is actually really dangerous, and it's just happening too often.
Did they say, the FAA or any other agency, say whether or not when they do find these people who are pointing these lasers, what their reasoning is behind it?
Usually they don't admit that they were actually aiming. That's from the cases we've seen. But they are arresting these people, and they face felonies. And the people who pointed at those F-35s, you pointed at an F-35, you have to assume that that's the most advanced piece of electronic in the sky.
Right.
Those people are getting arrested.
No kidding. Just common sense. You would just think common sense. But very interesting story. Maureen Lowe, thank you very much.
Sure.